Do penguins get cold feet? Have you ever seen a penguin wearing thick woolly socks or a pair of boots to keep its feet warm? They waddle around all day, barefoot, on the coldest surfaces in the natural world, without as much as a shiver. Some penguins even stand around in the icy wind and snow for months on end in the deepest, darkest winter, while they look after their eggs. They don't hop around yelling, "Ooh, ah, ouch, that's freezing." And you never see them complaining about the cold on penguin social media. Scientists, zoologists, and explorers have all noticed these things about penguins and asked the same question: do penguins get cold feet? It's a very interesting question, and a lot of work has been done to try to answer it. So let's examine penguin feet. You could say we will make it our sole purpose. Penguins live in some of the harshest environments on Earth. Although they are birds, they can't fly. This means that taking a nice winter holiday in a warmer place isn't an option for them. The emperor penguin, for example, lives in Antarctica, where temperatures can drop to 60 degrees. That's so cold your eyelashes would freeze together if you blinked. And if you left a banana out for a few minutes, it would become hard enough to use as a hammer. Human feet would certainly freeze if we stood in these conditions without thermally lined protective footwear. We'd very quickly feel a sharp pain, and then our toes would go numb. And that's just for a start. Our bodies automatically reduce the flow of blood to our arms and legs when we get really cold. They do this to try to stop the temperature of the blood from dropping too much. Exposed areas, like fingers and toes, easily lose their warmth to the surrounding cold air. This change in blood flow helps keep our main organs warm so they can carry on working. The only problem is, without warm blood reaching our feet and toes, they quickly freeze and can be badly damaged by the ice. When penguins stand around, their unprotected feet lie flat on the ground. But even this doesn't seem to harm them. It's natural to wonder why they fare so much better than humans in a frozen habitat. Penguin feet are quite scaly, but they aren't furry or feathery. You'd think they would need the extra covering to help keep them warm. So, for their feet to survive so well in such extreme conditions, something very special must be going on. What can it be? Maybe penguins are magic. They look like well-dressed magicians wearing tuxedos. Perhaps their feet are made of special rubber that doesn't freeze. Letting our imaginations run wild is fun, and we can come up with some weird and wonderful theories about how penguins keep their feet warm in the cold. It could be that penguins evolved to be completely numb from the knees down. That would also make it tricky for them to walk. But when you look at the clumsy way a penguin walks, this kind of makes sense. They do look like they're having a hard time. They could spend time standing on their tiptoes to reduce their contact with the icy ground beneath them. There might even be hidden layers of special insulation on their feet, acting as invisible foot warmers. Coming up with random ideas about how things work, however unusual, unlikely, or even wrong, can help us to find our way to the real answers with a bit of careful investigation. Like the rest of us, scientists love penguins. They've studied them everywhere, from Antarctica to zoo enclosures and high-tech research labs. Many hours have been spent observing penguins in freezing temperatures. They don't hop around in pain. They calmly stand still for hours, bare feet flat on the ground. Most importantly, they don't suffer any major damage to their feet as a result. Scientists have taken thermal imaging photos of penguins to see which parts of their bodies are warm or cold. Thermal imaging cameras show heat using color. Warm areas appear red and yellow, while cold areas appear blue and purple. The standout finding is that penguins' feet are certainly colder than the rest of their bodies. Scientists have also examined how blood moves through penguins' blood vessels in their legs and feet in the cold. They've found something amazing. The blood vessels are interwoven in a special way, quite different to humans. This turned out to be very important in explaining whether their feet get cold or even freeze. Penguins' tough, scaly feet give them some protection from the cold. They also tilt back on their heels sometimes and lift their toes up off the ice and snow, or rest their feet on their fluffy bellies. But penguins also have something amazing called a countercurrent heat exchange system in their legs. It sounds complicated, but it's actually a pretty simple trick. Your heart pumps warm blood to every bit of your body through tubes called arteries. That blood cools down as it goes through your cooler parts, like your legs and feet. Then it travels back to your heart through different tubes called veins. In a penguin's legs, the arteries and veins are coiled around each other, like two garden hoses wrapped together. When the warm blood flows down through their arteries, it passes right next to the cold blood coming back up through the veins. Scientists call this countercurrent because the blood flows in opposite directions. Counter means opposite, and current means flow. Since the tubes are so close together, the warmth spreads from the warm arteries to the cold veins. This is the heat exchange part. The heat moves from one place to another, like when you hold a hot mug and it warms up your cold hands. This means that penguins' feet get warm blood and don't freeze, even when they're standing on ice. The blood going back to their heart is warmer too, so their whole body stays cozy. It's like penguins have their own personal heating system built right into their legs. Scientists think this adaptation is pretty amazing. So, do penguins get cold feet? The answer is yes. Their feet are colder than the rest of their bodies. However, they don't get too cold or freeze. That's because of their amazing countercurrent heat exchange system, their scaly, protective skin, and their clever foot-shuffling behavior. Their feet and legs are perfectly adapted to life on the ice. Asking this question has taught us that penguins have evolved to take advantage of some of the most extreme places on Earth, and we can learn from the adaptations they have made. Understanding how they manage heat and cold helps engineers design better gear for Arctic explorers, mountain climbers, astronauts, and people who work in cold conditions. Scientists have copied penguin-style countercurrent heat exchange systems for items like clothing, boots, and spacesuits. In spacesuits, for example, a special garment is worn under the main suit. A network of interwoven tubes circulates water to absorb and reuse body heat. Similar technology is used to recover water vapor from astronauts' breath in the air in spaceships. What we've learned from studying penguins has helped us make our human heat management systems more efficient. Doctors and biologists have also studied animals like penguins to learn more about frostbite. They've uncovered new information about what causes it, how to prevent it, and how the body tries to protect itself in extreme cold. The same principles that stop penguins from getting frozen feet on Antarctic ice are now helping humans stay safe and warm in many different, extremely cold environments.